So, Dan, how was that episode? Hello, everybody, and welcome to First Impressions. We are on Twin Peaks Season 2, Episode 7. Last episode, Dan mentioned that there was not as much weird stuff going on, that it seemed sort of soap opera-y.
I take it back.
He takes
I take it all back. I take it all back so much. Ah! What the hell?
Okay, so literally, we have just ended the episode about 30 seconds ago, maybe a minute ago. I needed like 30 seconds to like turn on the camera and everything. Just sat there reacting. The last 6 minutes of that episode, we were just completely silent until towards the end when Dan started letting out primal screams of despair.
It isn't despair, okay? Make no illusions.
Okay, not despair. Sorry.
Make no mistake. I am in a good place right now. I just. The human brain is not equipped to deal with that kind of nonsense.
Okay, so let's unpack this episode, shall we?
Before we go any further.
Yeah, before we go any further,
first of all, spoilers. Second of all, is that it? Is that the answer? Or can you tell me? Is that what this whole series has been leading up to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. Like, the next couple of episodes, I think, are just about Cooper putting the dots
pieces together? Okay.
Yeah.
So, the audience, as of right now, as of this episode, we know who the killer is.
Yeah. And...
And wow. I did not see that coming. Like, I was honestly very surprised. Like, there were some theories where I was rolling around in my head. Yeah. And you know what? Now that I know the truth about it, given how many other movies I've seen that have cheesily done the same gimmick, I should have seen it coming. And I'm pissed off that I didn't. So kudos to David Lynch for pulling that off. That's amazing. Especially, this is what, early 90s this show was done?
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen this in its heyday. Because
while it was airing?
While it was airing in the early 90s, because that would have blown my mind. And I don't think, like up until now, I've heard everybody say it's a great series and everything like that. I get it now. I understand the acclaim for this series. I understand why everybody are so rabid about their fandom of this series, because that was phenomenal.
You know what? Because it's that reveal is so, like, that's the thing of the episode, right? That whole reveal, but there's
some stuff that happens.
There's a lot of stuff that happens in this episode. A lot of stuff. So this is going to probably be even longer than normal.
Oh, man.
So, let's go back. Speaking of weird stuff, let's go back to that first opening sequence. Which, that was Dan's probably first indication that this episode would be another weird one.
Well, you're talking about them all in the police station, like, just hanging out there?
I'm talking about the scene afterwards. Like, when it cuts to the hotel. And they're showing...
Oh my god, yes. Yeah, so they've got the one-armed man. He's giving them the clues that whoever the killer is at the hotel. So they're going to take the one-armed man to the hotel so he can identify them. They take the one-armed man to the hotel. What's going on at the hotel? Everybody has balls. Everybody is bouncing balls.
Specifically, like sailors or Navy people or something like that?
Like the shot opens up on like a slow pan into this thing, and all you hear is this thunderous racket. Like, it could be anything. It sounded to me like somebody was, like, trying to, like, move furniture around or something like that. But it's just this constant thunderous racket. And, you know, as the shot's pulling out into whatever it's about to reveal, like, our main characters or whatever, I'm looking around for it. I'm like, what is it? It's got to be, where's this thing that's creating, like, the sound is the thing. What is the sound coming from? Where is it and everything? And they pull it back, and then they start in on, like, dialogue, a little bit of action, a little bit of whatever. And it's not completely evident until they pull way the heck back, and you start to notice that there's a lot of sailors in the hotel right now, and a lot of them are bouncing these pink rubber balls all over the place. No explanation whatsoever why! And nobody references it at all! The only thing that is happening in that scene is that they're dragging guest after guest in front of the one-armed man. He's going, no, no, no. And he's getting a little bit more and more agitated to it. Finally, Ben Horne runs into the room, and he just sets the one-armed guy off, and he starts having a little freak out. And again, nobody references all of the bottles! The hotel has been a point where anything could happen. I'm starting to think, like, it reminds me of, like, the terminal in Men in Black. It could just be anything. Anything could show up there. We had, like, dancers of a beauty pageant there one time. We had a foursome of singers, a barbershop quartet that was there one time. Like, how many people are coming to Twin Peaks? And why do we never see them again? Like, what is going on?
Oh my gosh.
I'm reacting, I'm over-exaggerating a little bit here.
No, but it's fine.
I'm just...
other things that, okay, let's go to the least relevant thing. Oh, I guess least relevant, in the context of the episode, least relevant. We're back to the Shelley, Bobby, thing.
Yeah, they are starting to run into the sobering reality of what it is
scams.
Of insurance scams. They're realizing that the money what little money they did get is not going to go very far into helping Shelley, you know, pay the bills or whatever.
I think she said $42, and like $42
for a month.
For a month, it's like
you can't live on that.
No, you can't. Nope. Not at all. Maybe in like 1840 you could.
Yeah.
But...
So, you know, Shelley's a little distraught, whatever like that, and Bobby is just like trying to figure like he's not equipped to figure the situation out. But they get some tips from Leo, who starts to spring back to action a little bit. Leo's on about new shoes, and Bobby picks up on that, and he understands that Leo has had his fingers in a lot of dirty pies. So he's trying to track down some sort of way of subsidizing this insurance scam issue. Meanwhile, poor Shelley has to go to the diner and quit.
Yeah, because she has to
look after Leo.
Yeah, she has to look after Leo, so her only means of income is now gone.
Yeah.
And while at the diner, we get Nadine again.
Oh my god.
Where that is leading, we know not, but Nadine...
Every single time that Nadine shows up, I'm just thinking to myself, she can't possibly be any weirder than she was the last time we saw her. And every single time, I have been very wrong about that. Because she shows up this time, and she turns it up to 11.
Yeah.
Holy cow. She orders a milkshake, and she's still on a whole sort of...
I have super strength thing.
No, not super strength thing. It's like, I'm a teenager, and she's reacting like that. And Ed has still got that same look on his face, like he does not know how to process this. But now it's Shelley and the other woman, I forget her name.
Nadine.
No. Nadine's the crazy one.
Norma
and Shelley are now getting into it, and they have to bounce off this reaction too. Shelley especially. She just, Norma sort of has a little bit more invested in what's going on here because she's part of this. Yeah, she has a
little bit more context for what's going on.
And yeah, but Shelley is completely blown out of her seat, so she is just wide-eyed as Ed is. And the actors sell it so well in this scene.
Kudos to the actors. This was a great scene to watch just for their reactions. Like, and they're so like, you know, it's like not over the top at the same time.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if David Lynch actually just told the actress who plays Nadine to just go off and didn't give the other actors any promptu whatsoever. Yeah. And he just let the cameras roll, because that seems like what that scene could have. But then it accumulates beyond that good acting. Like I said, she orders a milkshake. She's still got her Hulk strength somehow. Yeah. And she's just like, oh, I'm just so happy. And then she just shatters the milkshake. It just goes everywhere. And glass goes all in her hand. It's covered in blood. And she starts doing this sort of really off kilter stuff, and Ed has so far just been kind of like, oh, let's just go, let's just roll that. But as soon as she starts doing that and she starts looking at him like with the crazy eyes, he's a subtle actor, so you can't really tell. But him, I'm sure he's thinking it, and the audience, for myself, was still thinking, we're thinking like, okay, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
This is bad.
Yeah, it's like he's in over his head. And okay, like my one nitpick of the Nadine thing is like, I don't know of many teenagers that act like that, who run up into a diner and like spin around in a chair. That feels more like a 9-year-old thing to me than it does, say, like a 17-year-old girl thing to me.
Well, I don't know that she's trying to authentically replicate a teenage affectation entirely. She more comes off to me as a disturbed woman who thinks that she's a very disturbed teenager.
Yeah, maybe. The other big reveal of this episode is who the Asian businessman is.
Yes, yes, we do.
And so
last episode, I clued into the fact that it was somebody in disguise.
Yeah.
And as soon as that happened to me, I'm like, okay, so who could it be that's in disguise? So I started running names through my head and everything, and it came down to, first of all, the voice made me think it was a woman.
Yeah.
Because the voice sounded like a woman trying to do a male Asian voice.
Talking like this.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, okay, so which women could possibly do that? And the two that I landed on were Josie.
Yeah.
And you're not going to help me on this one, are you?
Oh, wait, Catherine?
Catherine,
yeah.
yes,
So
Catherine.
you did guess Catherine.
So I guessed Catherine, and when I landed on the idea of Catherine, a funny thing happened in my head. I was just like, I've noticed that at the beginning of all the episodes of this season 2, Pippa Laurie's name has not been in the credits. So she's just been not in the show. So I was kind of like, if it is Catherine, then they might sneak her credit in after the show just to not spoil everything. And then that's indeed what they did, because it turns out it's Catherine.
And good on them for doing that, because so many things get spoiled when you see credits before the show opens.
Well,
right?
TV shows do something like for example, have you seen Jessica Jones?
Yes.
Carrie Ann Moss also had a cameo in the last episode of Daredevil season 2.
Oh.
But they didn't credit her at the beginning of the episode because that would be giving it away.
Right.
So shows sometimes do that. Anyway, back to Catherine. I think that like the reveal was kind of not as lackluster as the other big whale of a reveal, but what I think punctuated the scene perfectly is that she sneaks up on Pete. She reveals that she's to Pete, and Pete's reaction is just so perfect.
Yeah.
Because he takes a minute to process it, and he just looks at her and he's just like, "You look terrible."
Yeah.
That blew me out of my seat. I could not stand that. And then Pete starts laughing along with her, which suggests to me, one, he might be in on some of the dirty deals going on and we just never know. Or two, he's just overwhelmed with this situation. And what do? You just laugh.
So, let's come to the final, I guess, quarter of the episode. First off, the Log Lady shows
Log Lady shows up again. Yeah!
I have a theory about the Log Lady. So Twin Peaks is a town full of spirits who inhabit people, and I have a theory that the Log Lady, her log is a spirit of Twin Peaks who just happened to get the short end of the stick when it came to inhabiting bodies. Instead of getting a person who could talk, he got a log. So that's
I
my
do not
theory.
subscribe to this theory.
That's my theory. He's just like,
because one of the things
crap.
that I've really enjoyed about Twin Peaks so far is that it's very much hinted at. There might be something supernatural, there might be something spiritual going on, but it's never outright stated. Like everything is very sort of it's left up to the audience to interpret, including the big reveal of the killer at the end. Because there's theories of like Cooper's having dreams, he's having visions, he's having maybe hallucinations or whatever. It can still all be explained away as hallucinations, or maybe just, craziness or whatever. There's a theme of split personalities going on a lot with a lot of the characters. Like the one-armed man, he's got the split personality, and we find out that the killer, Laura Palmer's killer, is also may or may not also have that sort of thing.
Okay, so we have the big reveal.
Oh, it was so good too, because it starts off with cutting back and forth between shots of the Palmer house,
right,
where you can just tell just how the shot setup is, the sound specifically as well.
Oh,
there's this
the sound.
There's
Wow.
there's this record player that we've seen several times in the Palmer house that is at the end of its record, and it's just spinning and clicking over and over, and it's this monotonous click, click, click that is throughout this whole thing. That is just the bedrock, the spine of this whole sequence. But it starts off with just shots of the Palmer house, and it's pretty empty. So you're off kilter right now. It's like, why are you showing me static shots of this empty house?
Yeah.
We know it's the Palmer house too, so we're like,
Yeah.
is everything cool?
Because, like, weird stuff has happened in here before,
Exactly.
Right.
So the shots are just going slowly throughout wherever, and it pans over to the shots of the stairs and everything, and from out of the scene, a hand just comes crawling down out of the stairs. Right off the bat, I was like, ooh, what is that? That just caught me off guard immediately. And I'm like, oh crap, Laura's mom is having another one of her fits. Okay, this could go several ways.
She was, in a way. A horse appears, and she's like,
Yes!
right? And you're like, and the audience is like, huh, right? And then she goes unconscious, and the horse disappears.
Yeah. Not sure that, like, there's gotta be some
Not
symbolism.
sure what the symbolism for
There's
that
gotta
was,
be some symbolism, but regardless, you think, okay, so Laura's mom's having some sort of fit or whatever. She's done that before. We'll just cut away from it, and that'll be that. But no, we're going back to the Palmer house, and
there's
it pans
Leland
over to
screaming.
Leland. Like, mom's on the floor, seemingly unconscious. Leland's over in front of a mirror, straightening his tie, looking like he doesn't have a care in the world. Right there, you're like, oh, Leland is not better.
But even still, like, you're like, yeah, he's not better, but you've seen stuff like this before,
Yeah.
right? You've seen him
Has he just gone off or whatever?
Yeah.
And then it focuses on him looking in the mirror. It's going back and forth between the shot of him in the mirror, the shot of him in the mirror. It's doing that back and forth trick. And then finally, it buzzes over to the mirror, and it's not him. It's Bob. And then, boom, there it is. There's your answer. And at first, I didn't believe it. I thought, okay, this is just some sort of disjointed thing where he's having hallucinations about Bob too. So it's maybe Bob is just this evil spirit that's maybe visiting all different kinds of people. But no, the camera tricks and some of the quick fades are heavily suggesting that Leland is a schizophrenic and his alternate personality is Bob. And what follows after that pretty much confirms it, because he's putting on latex gloves. And of course, into the scene wanders poor Maddie, who looks exactly like Laura Palmer.
Yeah.
And pretty much exactly what you think is going to happen happens. Leland or Bob
And it is
or
a
whatever
very
it is.
horrific scene to watch.
It is rough.
And
Like,
it's long.
it goes on forever, but there's a couple of shots in it that would give pause to this show getting greenlit on television these days, because
yes.
you know, he's a killer and everything. He's obviously going after Maddie. And it's very easy way to show that. You just sort of show him approaching her and then cut away, and that's it. That's what most television shows do. No, the camera stays on him, and he goes after her. He starts strangling her. He punches her a couple of times, like seriously lays into her. Right there, I'm just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously he's gonna kill her, yeah, but showing that kind of brutality against a woman from a man in a television show? Holy jeez!
Yeah.
And then it spirals into this sort of slow burn kind of thing where you kind of get the sense that he's struggling with what's going on, but he's snapping in back and forth between the two personalities while killing this poor girl.
Yeah.
It's so brutal to see, because there's all sorts of washed out camera movements, the sound gets all distorted, besides that clicking of the record over and over. It's, you know, like the reveal has just hit the audience, and now we're sort of taking that in while this horrific thing is going on in the background. So it's a draining scene.
Yes.
And there's cuts back to Cooper, who's hanging out with the sheriff and Log Lady at the roadhouse, and he's getting a vision from the Giant.
Yeah,
the Giant shows up
back
on the stage again, and Giant's just sort of like staring at him, being like, guess what, it's happening again. So, you know, Cooper's kind of maybe got this sort of sense that something bad's going on. Some of the other people at the roadhouse, like Bobby's there at the bar,
Donna
and James are sort of there, and I think Bobby and Donna sort of maybe get a sense that something bad's happening too, because Donna breaks down and starts crying for no discernible reason, and Bobby just starts looking around very confused and concerned. And the soundtrack carries from the Palmer house back to the roadhouse and back and forth, so it's all just this big giant negative thing that's just blowing up underneath the seams of everybody's consciousness. it's trippy, and it just disarmed me when I was watching. I'm just like,
So somebody was saying, actually, because, okay, so right after all of this happens, and it's devastating, right?
and to punctuate the scene, everybody's favorite bellboy shows up.
So
as
the
well.
bellboys at the bar, and Dan's reaction was like, no.
Yeah.
No.
I was done at that. I could not take any more at that point. I was at my limit. And then he shows up. I don't care what he has to say or what he's doing there. No, I'm freaking done.
So somebody was saying that the bellboy is the giant as well.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's what they were saying. I honestly have a theory that the singer is the giant. Because, like, you know, in what other world would, like, because, like, think about it, like, you know, like, and she was there at the beginning too. Like, she was there at the beginning in the very first pilot episode where she was singing the weird ethereal songs again.
Yeah.
And kind of orgasming into the microphone almost, and just like,
maybe she is the symbol in this show of somebody getting killed or somebody.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Anyway, yeah. Tell me what the singer means, because I think she's the giant personally. Because like, it's like, you know, the giant's like, oh crap, I gotta go tell Cooper something. I gotta go into the singer. Go.
Your theories are hilarious, man.
That's the big.
That's it. That's
it.
Wow.
It's Leland and
Leland. Oh man. Again, I have to come back to it. I've seen several movies where, you know, some kids being tormented, and it turns out that there's an adult in their life trying to protect them from this invisible tormentor, and it turns out that the adult was the villain the whole time.
Yeah.
That's something you've seen in horror and thriller movies a
lot. All the time.
But spread out over Twin Peaks, where there's so much stuff drawing you in different directions and freaking you out and distracting you. And it was able to slide that underneath my radar so well and so perfectly.
What's hilarious about it is, like, because this is my second, like, watch of the series. So, like, what's so funny about it is that it is so obvious in many ways.
When I go back and watch the series again, which I'm probably going to do, I'm going to be like, I knew it.
Yeah.
I should have seen.
You have this character who's suddenly acting like you interpret it as grief. And you don't interpret it as anything else. And then because other weird stuff is going on, but when you look at his weird stuff is just a little different than the other weird stuff going on. So it was like, crap, it's him dealing with whether it's like this supernatural, you know, he's being taken over by an evil spirit, or whether it's him being schizophrenic and kind of a serial killer.
Yeah.
And we're no actual serial killer, because he puts the letter into her fingernails.
Exactly,
to
sort of seal the deal there. I wasn't entirely 100% sure that the show wasn't trying to fake me out a little bit until he did that. And I'm like, okay, they're driving home the fact that this is our killer.
This is it.
So,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I need to go lie down now for a while.
I need another drink. So even watching that again was very... Okay, guys, well, we're going to leave it at that for now. We will see you for 2 more episodes after this, because it takes 2 episodes for Cooper to catch up.
Oh, man.
I think. But, yeah, thanks very much. And we will see you later. Bye-bye.